We'll call the meeting of the Economic Development Authority for Tuesday, June 9th, 2020, 8 a.m. to order. First item on the agenda is roll call, and we do have a quorum. I don't know if we have to recognize Mike. Do we have to do a roll call for that?
I would do a roll call, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Commissioner Braum,
Present.
Commissioner Fix,
Yes.
Commissioner Yanni,
Present.
Commissioner Schwartz,
Present.
and Commissioner Schultz is absent. President Schmitz.
Yes, motion carries. We do have a quorum, so we'll go on to item number 2, public meeting notice. Public meeting notice to be conducted by teleconference, so need a motion to receive it in order to file.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
Aye.
Sounds great. Thank you. We don't need to do a roll call for everyone, do we?
Yeah, as long as there's somebody on the phone, you'll have to do roll call for every vote.
All right, let's start over. We'll do a roll call.
Okay, Commissioner Braum,
Yes.
Commissioner Fix,
Yes.
Commissioner Yanni,
Yes.
Commissioner Schwartz,
Yes.
President Schmitz.
Yes, motion carries. Item number 3, approval of the minutes of the last meeting.
I'll offer a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on anything there? Seeing none? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Roll call.
Oops, sorry. Roll call
Aye.
again.
Commissioner Braum,
Yes.
Commissioner Fix,
Yes.
Commissioner Yanni,
Yes.
Commissioner Schwartz,
Yes.
President Schmitz.
Yes, motion carries. Item number 4, administrative activities for 2020, May 2020. Heather?
All right, good morning. You've got the reports in your packet. I'll just highlight a few items. Note on the Section 8 report, the Section 8 program did receive $10,396 in funding from the CARES Act. That goes into the administrative fee fund. We're limited as to what we can use those funds for, so I fully anticipate, unless I'm able to find a way to spend those funds, that they'll be returned at the end of the year. Under the public housing program, note the tech pointing project is nearly completed.
Heather?
Yes,
Heather?
yes.
What are the conditions of those funds?
I didn't bring it with me, but it can be used to pay for staff overtime, which our office never has. It can be used to buy supplies like disinfectant, cleaner, masks. Those have already been provided by the city, so I don't have a need to
Okay.
purchase those items. It's those sorts of things. It's really nothing I could find that I could use the money for that's allowed.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Getting back to the public housing, Tech Point project is nearly completed. We're down to just a few minor items and landscaping repair, and then that'll be finished. And we're starting the concrete project today, meeting the contractor to do a walkthrough, and then they'll get started on that work.
8.
Note also, the public housing program received $12,243 in funding from the CARES Act. That money I am planning to use at the Broadway House Apartments. Historically, the air conditioners in the apartments have been tenant-owned. Chris and I have been talking about purchasing air conditioners for our tenants because HUD is encouraging that for people that have respiratory issues like asthma and allergies, to have conditioned air. And also, there have been heat waves in recent years where public housing tenants have actually died from heat exposure. So for those reasons, we've been looking at that, and I can use the CARES Act funding to purchase those air conditioners. So I'm going to buy as many as I can to use that money. Moving on to the EDA report, note that the sale of the remaining 8 lots in the Milford Heights subdivision is pending and scheduled to close on July 2nd. The Small Business Incentive Grant Program has $50,000 in available funds. Audra, do you have applications pending? They just haven't been paid out?
I'm sorry, which one was that for?
The Small Business Incentive Grant
Yep,
Program?
I'm holding on 3 applications.
Okay,
The businesses haven't opened yet.
Okay.
So they've just gotten their applications in.
okay. So probably about 30,000 of that's allocated and will be paid out later this year? Okay. Property Rehabilitation Loan Program, 1 application has been received and is pending approval. That's actually on the agenda later for this meeting because it is in the amount of $75,000 and would need board approval. Home Buyer Assistance Loan Program, available funds of $19,675 as of May 31st. Those funds have all been allocated. They just have not been paid out yet at this time. And under the Garden Terrace report, just note expenses were higher during the month of May due to their property tax payment and also a fire alarm replacement project.
I just want to say it's a great idea to use the money from the CARES to get the air conditioners. Thank you. That's wise. That's very good.
Yeah, and do you have any idea of, is that gonna cover all of the units possibly, or?
A little over half. They're about $500 a piece. We've got 40 apartments, so.
Would we consider just funding the remaining ones out of some of our own funds then?
Yeah, once I get a little farther with our current capital fund projects, I'm gonna look at our remaining capital fund grant, and we should have enough money to purchase
Okay. Yeah.
the rest.
I agree with Sue. That's, I think it's a good use of those funds. And my only question would be, do some of the tenants currently have their own air conditioners?
That's what I was going to say. Most of the tenants did have an air conditioner. So what we're doing is replacing theirs with a new and recycling, because we're looking at the age and we're going to replace the oldest ones first. And I have 2 tenants actually who just, their air conditioners just quit working. So they're on the top of the list to get a new one. And so that's what we're looking at. Eventually, I want them all to be new air conditioners that we own. So we'll just kind of phase it in and eventually get to the 40.
Any other
Heather, was there any thought about central air?
That would be a very expensive project because we have hot water heat, so we don't have the ventilation system to run central air through.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to accept the EDA's administrative activities for the month of May 2020.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Seeing none? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Roll call.
Oops, sorry.
Aye.
Please call the roll. My fault.
Commissioner Brum,
Yes.
Commissioner Fix,
Yes.
Commissioner Yanni,
Yes.
Commissioner Schwartz,
Yes.
President Schmitz.
Yes, motion carries. Item number 5, public housing
Don't forget
operation.
about me. I vote yes, too.
Are you here, Les?
Oh,
Les is
when
made.
did
I'm
you
here.
pop in? Okay, well, Commissioner Schultz.
Stuck in.
Okay.
Yes, I stuck in.
All right. Motion carries. Item number 5, public housing operating budget. Heather?
All right, this is an annual item. This is the first budget we approve every year. It does need to be approved and submitted to HUD prior to the end of our fiscal year on June 30th. So the public housing budget covers day-to-day operations of the 50 public housing units. Like I mentioned, 40 units at the Broadway House Apartments, and then we also have 10 scattered site family unit rental houses. We have 4 duplexes and 2 single-family houses under the public housing program. The budget will be for the fiscal year July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2021. We work with our fee accountant, C-Neighbor, to put the budget together in the proper HUD format every year. There aren't a lot of changes. It's pretty much a status quo from the current budget. Note, the capital fund grants are not included as part of this budget. This is just our operating subsidy and rental income and that sort of thing. For the current fiscal year through the end of May, we have a small surplus of just under $1,600. We have a projected deficit for the upcoming budget of about $23,500. And that's caused by several factors: lower rental revenue, increased operating costs, and our operating subsidy is currently prorated at 95%, so we're budgeting the same for the upcoming year. Any questions on the budget?
Anybody have any questions?
I will offer the resolution to waive the reading to adopt the public housing operating budget for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2021.
I'll second.
I'll second. Les?
We have a motion and a second to offer the resolution, waive the reading. Any more discussion? Seeing none. Heather, please call the roll.
Right, Commissioner Brum,
Yes.
Commissioner Fix,
Yes.
Commissioner Yanni,
Yes.
Commissioner Schwartz,
Yes.
Commissioner Schultz,
Yes.
President Schmitz.
Yes, motion carries. Item 5.2, EDA claims list. Anybody have any questions or comments on that?
The APX construction, that was for the tuck pointing, or what was that?
That's the tuck pointing, that's a progress payment.
Okay. Thank you.
And then I'll just note too, there was a generator repair bill. The radiator was full of holes and needed to be replaced. So that was a high ticket item.
Thank you. Anybody else have
I'll
any?
move the claim.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none. Heather, please call the roll.
Commissioner Brum,
Yes.
Commissioner Fix,
Yes.
Commissioner Yanni,
Yes.
Commissioner Schwartz,
Yes.
Commissioner Schultz,
Yes.
President Schmitz.
Yes, motion carries. Item number 6.1, rehab loan for SPRD LLC.
Good morning, thank
Okay.
you. Yep, good morning and thank you. So this is a commercial rehabilitation loan that has come forward from SPRD LLC, and they are working on a property on Front Street. Projects include a roof redo at $132,000, and also fire sprinkler systems, valves, piping, and also some insulation cracks that need to be fixed. So this building has a few different tenants in it, and they all have different situations, so that it's kind of a big project. So they're asking for $75,000. If you remember, in April, you increased the amount of the potential loans to $75,000. It was $25 and $50, and now it's $50, $75. So they can get up to $50,000 without having to bring it to the EDA. But now they need $75,000, so it does need to come before you. Lots of sound effects today. Any questions or concerns?
Anybody have any questions, Roger?
No concerns on your end, Audra?
No. No concerns on my end. It's this is the matching funds, so there's a local lender that's putting up the matching funds for the project.
They're also signing a promissory note mortgage personal guarantee, so I think we're covered, which is,
Standard.
that's my standard, yeah, comfort.
I'll approve the loan with the conditions as stated, Les.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Seeing none. Heather, please call the roll.
Commissioner Brum,
Yes.
Commissioner Fix,
Yes.
Commissioner Yanni,
Yes.
Commissioner Schwartz,
Yes.
Commissioner Schultz,
Yes.
President Schmitz.
Yes, motion carries. Item 6.2, New Ulm Partnership Request for Strategic Planning Funds. Audra?
Yes, and thank you, President Schmitz. This request is coming to you from the New Ulm Partnership, which is a group of a few representatives from the NUEDC, the Chamber. I know that Corey is here representing the Chamber today. This group has been meeting on what does the structure of economic development look for our community. And we've been working on meeting, figuring out, what are the roles, responsibilities of that, and felt that we needed to do a strategic plan process and go through the process of that. So the request you have is for $3,000 today. There is a plan that has various funds coming in from other entities. NUEDC has put funds in, ISD 88 has put funds in, the Chamber. So and the New Ulm Area Foundation did also give a very anchoring contribution to the project. We're looking at the total cost of $22,500. Corey, did you want to say anything? Nope. Okay. Questions?
When was the last one done? I'm sure we must have done some strategic planning for that in the past.
2007, we did, was the last comprehensive plan, maybe. I honestly don't know if there's been a strategic plan just for economic development.
Okay.
The community has done a lot of visioning work, maybe strategic plans for specific issues, like the Renew projects and things like that.
Sure.
Les Schultz, do you have any comment on that? Does that ring a bell to
I
you?
was just trying to remember if I recall one, and I do not. So I don't think we have had one either, not specifically for this purpose.
Thank you.
I don't remember any since I've been on the council, 12 years, so.
So the funds, Audra, are going to be used for what?
So the funds will go to a consultant who will come into, very similar to other systems where the person comes in and interviews the stakeholders interested in economic development, put together a plan, put together some timelines, work on building relationships, and who kind of has what niche in the whole scheme of growing this community. So it is to hire a firm to come in and help with that process. Our deliverable will be the plan, but also some, just some priorities so that we're moving ahead in a timely fashion, and some goals and priorities.
So based on Mr. Loof's letter, we have the range is 15,000 to 50,000.
Yes.
And a couple other groups have tossed in money. Are other people tossing in money as well?
We are with the 3,000. If the EDA does approve that today, we will be at 22.5. And the group has already engaged with some consultants to see what we can get for that amount, and we're very pleased with the proposals that we've gotten back. So we feel that 22.5 is the goal we are reaching for.
That was my next question, so you just answered that. So part of me is like, maybe we should wait to put it out for what we want in that plan and see what the price tag is. What if you're $1,000 short or $2,000 too much? I don't know.
I think we're moving ahead at a really quick pace, Commissioner Schultz. There's not a lot of. We're pretty solid on this 22.5, and we're very happy with the services and the things that came back in the RFPs.
So I have a question then. What are those services, and why haven't the EDA been consulted? Aren't we a stakeholder in this whole process? I mean,
Yes.
don't we have a lot to say in the strategic plan for the economic development? It seems like we've been excluded up to now.
You have not been excluded, Commissioner Braun. We have had numerous city staff people in this process, and that have been able to speak for the actions of this group.
But we don't know what those deliverables are, then the 22,000, we don't know what that is, what we're seeking from this consultant at this point.
So it's an overall economic development plan taking into account the various groups that exist in our community that are interested in growing the town. So everybody has a different place, everybody's at the table, but has a different perspective at the table. So in the group, the New Ulm Partnership Group that's been meeting, Chamber's been there, NUEDC has been there, so the school district, Chamber. So we are, just trying to get something community-oriented to start. Now, I do know that EDA has done some strategic planning. We've had some really good conversations here. And so that has really helped push this group to want to move ahead and keep going, and you will definitely be a part of the future. But you've not been excluded.
Any other questions? Chris?
Musical chairs. Morning. So basically what this plan is, or this strategy is, it's not really to define what the city, what the partners should be doing as far as, economic goals set forth, like do X amount of numbers of business retention visits and things like that. This plan is a plan to set what the role is for each of the partners at the end of the day. So what the city's role is, what EDC's role is, what the school's role is, what everyone's role is, because at this point in time, no one knows what their role is. I've set for some parameters for Audra to do some stuff and for city staff to do stuff, but a lot of it doesn't come to what the EDC does because I can't direct what they do. They don't have staff. So again, what is their role is sitting at the table as a stakeholder. School has their own project. So how does everyone come together and work on those goals? And so that's what this plan is, at the very core of it, that's what this plan is set up to define roles. Because when we look at it, we're going to be doing a comprehensive plan, which is going to be in the next year or two, which is going to have economic development components. And from that, you would create an economic development strategic plan. So this is a very focused way for a group of stakeholders to come to the table and define rules and what everyone should be doing. So that would include the chamber, but again, as we've seen through COVID and all that stuff, everyone has stepped up and come to the table without having a plan. So either way, we can move forward, but this is a way for everyone at that particular table to have a set of tasks that they can march towards.
Thank you, Chris. Anybody else have any questions?
Dan, are you the representative on the New Ulm Economic Development Corporation?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Had they talked about this at any of the meetings?
I've not been included in any emails recently, so I have no idea what's going on with them.
Okay.
And believe me, the coordination of getting everybody to march to the same drumbeat is absolutely paramount for our success, and I don't have any issue with that. I just want to make sure. I get the idea sometimes that we're just here because we have a checkbook, and I think we want to play a different role in that. We've gotten out of the housing game, which I think was a good task for us to undertake, and it's taken some time. But I think what we need to do then is, for ourselves as a commission, is to refocus what our efforts are. And I think the timing of it is great, that we can sit down and coordinate with other various entities in the community. I just a little surprised that this is kind of coming out of left field. And it would have been nice to have some representation from the EDA, I think, to be a part of this partnership, to be involved with the preliminary discussions. That said, I don't want to get in the way at any way or shape or form of this moving forward, because I think it's exactly what a number of people have been talking about, and it's kind of like, let's bring it all together. When you're talking comprehensive plan, you're talking the city's comprehensive plan then, Chris, is that correct?
Yes.
And so obviously economic development, so we can dovetail our findings with this consultant and our plan to go into the strategic plan as well.
Yeah, so
Or
under
the comprehensive plan, excuse me, yeah.
Yeah, under the economic development section of the comprehensive plan, this plan will be given to them along with other strategies, because again, you can't have an economic development strategic plan, for the city when you don't know what the city's goals and objectives are as far as economic development. And so again, this plan will be for that group, because
Sure.
they don't dictate city's goals and objectives. This is
Right,
more for that,
right.
that one
And
group.
I'm assuming we'll be apprised every step of the way,
Yep.
and we can be involved as much as we want to be in the process. in attending some of these meetings and such as they go forward?
Yes, that again, EDA is a stakeholder, so when the consultant comes on board, one or if not all of the members here will be interviewed by the consultant to get your input as part of the plan.
Okay. Great.
Thank you. Any other questions?
No, I'll offer a motion to approve the funding of the $3,000.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Seeing none. Heather, please call the roll.
Commissioner Brum?
Yes.
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Commissioner Yanni?
Yes.
Commissioner Schwartz?
Yes.
Commissioner Schultz?
Yes.
President Schmitz?
Yes, motion carries. Item 7.1, technology choice for future meetings. Heather?
All right, let me find that one. Okay, so staff has been informed by the IT department that there have been some issues using the Zoom meeting software. So they've asked us to inquire whether the EDA would like to conduct future meetings with Zoom or go back to teleconference, like I think we did the first meeting of social distancing. And then we just need to let IT know what your decision is.
Do we know what problems we're having with Zoom?
Chris, do you know, Nate was here, but he had another meeting he had to leave.
It's been connection issues sometimes, people connecting to the wrong meeting, getting the wrong information. Again, a lot of the feedback and stuff like that. Again, it's nothing major, but it's also with every commission doing different things. Sometimes it gets crossed if someone wants to do a teleconference versus Zoom. So we're trying to get everyone kind of on the same page, but it's still ultimately the commission's decision which technology they want to use. Again, if we go with the teleconference, the number never changes. The room is always the same, so you don't need a link every time the meeting comes up. But again, ultimately, commission's decision to decide which one they want to use. But again, as we are now kind of things are opening up and more commissioners can come to the meeting, it might be less and less of a issue moving forward. But at this time, there's still some commissioners that would like to either use Zoom or teleconferencing.
Chris, this is Les. I wish Nate was here because him and I have been talking about, he was going to be looking into whether or not the iPads that you have in front of you that could turn on the camera so that we all would see each other. And I think that always helps when you, less interruptions, you have a better sense of what's really going on in meetings. And there was talk of doing that with the city council meetings. Do you know where that's at?
At this point in time, the iPads don't have that capability. I know Nate's still looking into that, but at this point in time, no, the cameras do not work on the iPads.
Okay. I know that, and my next question is, are we using the cheap version of Zoom? There's several different levels. So are we using the $14.99 a month one, or are we using the Zoom Gov feature, which is a lot more expensive with a lot less issues?
I think we're using the Zoom Gov feature.
Yeah, we paid more than $14.
Yeah.
Because we use that every week with drug court, and we've not had an issue ever. And there are people that use the regular Zoom one that you can, not the free one. The free one's 40 minutes, no more than 5 people. So I think we have that one. But I'm wondering if we have the first version or the more expensive version. And these meetings might not go away. I mean, if we get a surge this fall and we're back separated again, I don't know. I don't like the conference call. It's just, you're too distracted. You don't seem like you're involved when you're just calling in. There's always so much more interruptions because you don't know if the next person is going to make a motion when you're going to make a motion. And it's hard enough even just with Zoom if you have a camera or not. But so I guess I'm undecided on this.
I guess my comment is I agree with Les. I've never been involved with Zoom except for past maybe 3 meetings with Region 9 and stuff, and it's been working out really great. The thing is with the call-in, like Les says, you don't get to see anybody. So, like for myself to run a meeting, if we had Zoom where I can see everybody like we do with Region 9 and stuff, it works out just great. You could actually physically run a meeting just from home. The only thing is I personally believe too, Zoom is a start, but we still, within the city, for as a city council or far as all of our different commissions, I think we still need to have somebody here, one person at least. Because if we're open to the public, I think somebody should be here to welcome the public in. So that's just my theory, but I still think we need to go with new technology.
I do like the Zoom, because if you have a question, you can raise your hand. I mean, physically raise your hand. People will see you. They will, it's more, I don't want to say user-friendly, but it is. You can see someone, you can see their reaction. You can see, you know, if they've got a question or if they adamantly or don't believe or believe in it. So I'm for Zoom because the teleconference, it didn't work for me.
So with Zoom though, I think if we can't see Mike and Les out there today, that's where I have a problem really
Right.
believing in Zoom though. Where if
But we
it's
should
part of
update
us.
our technology here, you know, look at
Yeah.
it for the budget, whatever.
Because the last ones I was on, I could see a couple other people, but you still only had
Don't
half.
see everybody.
Exactly. So I think if we're gonna use that, we need to either go all in. With my job, we've used teleconferencing a lot over the last many years, so I guess I have a comfort level with that already and kind of get used to those interruptions and how those meetings work. But you do lose those, you know, facial reactions and things. But I feel like we have a disconnect already anyway, so we either need to go all in on that so we can see people from here or just use the teleconference, in my opinion.
The iPad looks like it does have a camera on it. Is it just not functioning?
Yes.
You know? So what would it take to make it function?
Nate is looking into that.
Okay, thank you.
Just the question with Zoom too, because all these are being broadcast for like later on cable TV. If it gets into a Zoom environment, how does that work?
There is a way to record the Zoom meeting and put it on. I mean, we're always going to have the cameras on here, so it's always going to be recorded audio. So again, we can do that, but you can record the Zoom meetings and put those on as well.
Okay. Okay.
Bring back our old laptops. They had cameras on them, didn't they, Chris?
That I do not know.
I think I kind of maybe not. That was quite a while ago.
Any more questions, concerns?
I need a motion on which option you want to go with.
Can we delay it until we find out if the feature with the camera, what it takes to just, you know, use it on the iPads? Because if it's just a mere little fix, I'm gonna go for Zoom.
Yeah, we can.
Does that delay you? Does that delay you?
I don't know what Nate's timeline is to.
No, it's fine. If
I-
we can look into the technology and see if we can get the cameras to work. If we can't, then we can come back the next meeting and.
Sounds like
You
there's a
make your decision.
preference for Zoom.
Yep.
So if we were to say we would prefer to have Zoom, but our wish would be to have the camera enhancement for two-way visual communication.
We can do that.
Sounds good.
You want us? We can
I'll-
do a
I'll make
motion
that
on
motion,
Will
I
you?
guess.
I'll second it then.
We have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Heather, please call the roll.
Commissioner Brum?
Yes.
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Commissioner Yanni?
Yes.
Commissioner Schwartz?
Yes.
Commissioner Schultz?
Yes.
President Schmitz?
Yes, motion carries. Item 7.2, Small Business Development Center Activity Report. Audra?
Yes, thank you. President Schmitz and Commission, this, in your packet today is just a quick report of the SBDC activity in the New Ulm area. The first top part is really the whole SBDC. It came from Mike Hahn, their director. Mike Hahn and Wendy Anderson are on this call, so if you have questions, they would be able to take them. And then the bottom half of the sheet is Wendy Anderson, her hours and kind of where her time goes. Again, she is the designated consultant from SBDC who sits upstairs on the second floor here at City Hall and used to take people coming in person, and since the stay-at-home order went into place, she has been doing all of her work from home remotely. So if you have any questions, I can take those. Mike and I have talked numerous times how we were happily going along until COVID, with just having a steady stream of people into the office to meet with Wendy. I have two quick stories that I think really have helped me support this wholeheartedly. Is that Wendy has been in the office, just talking about situations, we share back and forth what the city is working on, and she was actually really helpful in finding somebody who was interested in doing multiple home construction. So she was helpful in getting the Milford Heights thing taken care of. And then I just met with another client of hers who is a finance person in our community who had some questions about helping his clients with succession planning. And so she is actually helping him be a better resource to his clients in the financial world. So there's just been those are two great stories that are not what we expected necessarily. We thought Wendy would come and help new businesses get started. She's doing that, but she's also doing these other things that are really helpful to us. So if you have any questions about the activity up to this point, or want to talk to Mike or Wendy, please go ahead.
I just had a quick question. They started in 2019, right? So a year over year, between 19 and so far in 20, what impact has the shutdown had on the number of visits? Has it been decreased because of that, or has it increased because there's more businesses with their conditions looking for outside resources and help to kind of get their businesses back and going again? And
well, a lot of their calls have been COVID related.
Sure.
For the last 8 weeks, probably.
So has that meant a spike in activity then compared to like a year ago?
That I don't know.
Okay.
Mike, are you able to hear that question?
Yeah, Audra, are you able to hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you just fine.
Okay. Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Mike Hahn. I'm the Regional Director for the South Central Small Business Development Center, hosted at Minnesota State University, Mankato. We have seen a significant increase since the Presidential Declaration Order of March 13th of 2020. To kind of give you an example, we've seen about 28 clients from the New Ulm area. 22 of those have come to us since March 13th of 2020. From a center perspective, the center usually sees about 500 clients per year. Since March 13th, we've seen about 300 clients. So we've seen a very, very big spike. If you take a look at the report that's provided to you as far as what's been the hours, definitely the financing capital have been a big part of our consulting area. A lot of that's been helping clients with everything from spreadsheets to applying for SBA programs to the payroll protection program or to the economic injury disaster loan. Also worked on numerous occasions with Audra in getting clients prepared for your local recovery program that you offer, and which was very well received by our clients in the New Ulm area. I just wanted to show our appreciation to that as well. Also on the line with me is Jill Crush. Jill just joined our SBDC as our program manager on May 27th. So you can't see her, but she is here. I wanted her to kind of take a part of this meeting so that she understands as far as what we're doing. And then I also have Wendy Anderson, who's our consultant that works and is in place in New Ulm, but with COVID-19 has been doing a lot of phone and a lot of Zoom type of conferences. And Wendy, do you have any other things that you would like to say to the commission?
Well, good morning, everyone. And I come to New Ulm, or I used to come to New Ulm 2 Tuesdays a month, and our schedule is completely booked all day long. It was various clients with startups, with some of the loans that New Ulm provides. We were helping set up that and prep for that. Also, with the housing. So it's various. I've also been talking to some young girls that want to start some new businesses. A lot of COVID, a lot of PPP. So finance related mostly.
Anyway, I just wanted to concur that we very much appreciate your support. And we had a whole program that was even, on-site things as far as, answering questions as far as legal. We were having a conference for that. We were going to have that on site. We are going to do an event called Consulting Cafe, but due to COVID, we have not been able to do that. We are going to do an entrepreneurship startup smart session coming up later this month, which we'll do online. And just to add, we use Zoom here at the university. I'm on at least 3 or 4 Zoom calls or Zoom meetings per day, and we haven't had any issues with it. So it's been a great technology for us. Thank you.
Does that answer your question?
I have a
Liz?
question.
Okay.
I have a question for Mike or Wendy. From what I hear you saying, Wendy, is even with COVID or without, we're very, very busy in New Ulm. Should we be adding more time? What's your thoughts on that?
That could be a possibility, yes, because I don't just stop with the 2 Tuesdays. I continue with the clients during the week if they need it. So we run into that, and it's not like we're just there Tuesday. We continue to work with them. So, yes, that could be a possibility.
Commissioner Schultz,
Maybe
remember
that's
that
something.
Wendy is not the only consultant in New Ulm either. So she's got 2 full days. And then there are other consultants that are, with other topics or other specialties also working in our community. She's just sort of the designated one for City Hall.
I have another question.
Yeah, okay, that's right. So, Audra, do you think we should be adding more time with this company, or are we okay?
I think COVID-19 threw us for quite a loop, and I'm not very happy with what was happening beforehand. It's taken us a little bit to figure out how do we provide these services in the new kind of normal that we're in. So, and I don't know, Commissioner Schultz. I kind of feel like let's stabilize out a little bit. But I know it's appreciated, and it's great for the city to have these people come into City Hall and, be familiar with this building and what things can happen here. So I'm going to put,
Audra, if I could just add something. I'm relatively new. I've been here for less than 3 years, but at least in my time in New Ulm, there's definitely a high energy of creativity. There's a high energy of entrepreneurship. And I really, really think that you guys are on the verge of something here. So I applaud you with your strategic planning. And, the best way to grow a community is to grow from within. And I really think that you have the human capital to do that within your community.
well, thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
Mike, I have another question. At this point, is your office looking at a plan to resume in-person meetings? And if so, do you have a timetable established? And secondly, go ahead. I'll ask my next question after you answer the first.
Sure. Because the university is our host, we follow their protocol. I will answer that question from the standpoint, and I apologize for this answer. I don't know. I'm hoping that late in July, maybe August, we can resume. Although we are taking on some contingency plans in case the virus does spike this fall. I would love to be there in person because I really like the social interaction. For me, I'm isolated in my office up here. I'm in my office daily, but I'm social distanced. And when I see a real person and not a virtual person, I get excited anymore. But I would love to do it. From my standpoint, late July, August, if we can. I don't know if that's a fair answer, but that's the way I'm going to answer their question, sir.
No, the I don't know is pretty common when you talk to anybody in a lot of businesses today. So that's not expected or not surprising to hear that. So, but it's good. I'm glad you've got that on a timeline, at least tentatively. I think the in-person stuff is greatly beneficial. My second question is, and you I take it you've been listening in our whole meeting. We talked about getting stakeholders together for a strategic plan. I don't know if these folks are on our stakeholder list for our strategic plan. I would love to get their input because their perspective with dealing with and speaking with a lot of potential and existing small businesses obviously is going to be very beneficial as we move forward with our strategic plan. So hopefully they're at the table. So.
Yeah, just to follow up on that, I have been involved in strategic plans in other communities, and also I have worked with the Institute for Decision Making, which is an Iowa-based company, and they are working with Wasika right now to help them in the implementation of their plan. Anything that we can do to help, we will definitely work with New Ulm in any way possible. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have another question for Wendy. In your year that you've spent working here, and you said you help folks with what we have available for incentives for businesses. Are we missing anything? Is there something that you see in other communities that we don't have or that we maybe should have? I'm just curious.
That one I could really dig into. Every community is a little different, but every time I reached out to somebody, especially Mr. Snowbrook and stuff, and help with some of the new businesses coming in, everybody always kind of came to the table and did a good job and did whatever they could. That included, tax abatement, different things like that. So sometimes maybe I know like the $10,000 nowadays is very helpful, but a lot of times we could use a little more in EDA loans. So other than that, I think you guys have really, really been very helpful.
One thing, if I could add to that, Wendy, one thing I would, and I'm not sure if you have this or not, but I think maybe co-working space or incubation space would just be beneficial, especially in this post-COVID and as we recover from COVID-19 as well.
Can you explain that a little bit more, Mike? What do you mean by that?
Well, when we talk about getting creativity together with entrepreneurs like to engage with like organizations or like colleagues. I'm a big proponent of the Main Street project and believe that, these type of facilities should be located within a high traffic, pedestrian traffic area like your downtown. Having such space maybe remote out into an industrial park or out in a remote area of the community really doesn't help because you need that interaction. It's a place where people can go, basically get free internet access as far as wireless. They can congregate. It helps kind of build that entrepreneur culture within your community. And it also works as far as kind of incubating new businesses over the short term.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions? For Audra, anybody?
I don't have a question, but I just like to say with all the changes this year, I'm so glad that we have a partnership like this to help support and answer questions. And, even if the answer is I don't know because things change so quickly, it's great that we have this partnership. So thank you.
And if I could I just like to have Jill just to say hi to everybody and introduce herself as well, because she's going to be a very valuable part of our team. Jill, if you can unmute and say hi and maybe tell us a little bit about yourself, that would be great.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Jill Crush. I am new to this role at the SBDC as a program manager, but not new to the community. I grew up in southern Minnesota, Burning Center, actually. Spent a lot of time in New Ulm with my family growing up. So happy to be part of the SBDC and my time at the university. I've been here about 8 years has been really valuable. So continuing that partnership and helping your community in any way we can.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you, commissioners.
Thank you.
Welcome, Joe.
I'd like to make
Thank
a
you.
motion to receive the report of activity hours by the Small Business Development Center in the New Ulm area.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Seeing none. Heather, please call the roll.
Commissioner Brum,
Yes.
Commissioner Fix,
Yes.
Commissioner Yanni,
Yes.
Commissioner Schwartz,
Yes.
Commissioner Schultz,
Yes.
President Schmitz.
Yes, motion carries. Item 8.1.
Thank you for your time today. I think our team is going to leave at this point, but we really appreciate your feedback and also this discussion.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Economic Development Director, Assistant City Manager Activity Report. Audra?
Yes, good morning again. So my report is in the packet. Just like to pull out a couple of things. Looking at the commercial rehab loan process, David Schnobrook and I have been having some conversations just about the process, not changing any of the details, but just making sure that we're following consistent policy and those regulations. Also, I start my International Economic Development Council Intro to Economic Development class this week. I got a binder about 2 inches thick, come in the mail, so I'm excited to start that. I'll report on our child care conference. Last month, you approved the $4,000 for that child care conference, and we are looking at the date of September 26th. So this is a partnership with ECFE, Betty Euling, I'm sure many of you know her, and also Pauline Holtz from Brown County, who's in the licensing department there for child care. So that's the team that's working on that, and we're meeting every other week on the details of that. Also want to just talk a little bit about where we are at with the small business loans that were approved just last month. In 2 weeks, we processed 24 loans. We had only one loan come in at $2,500. If you remember, that was the minimum. And then the maximum was $10,000. And so we have gone through the money that was allotted, the $250,000, with those loans. And I met with Nicole and we talked about what is left from the first grant funds, and we have moved that over so that we could still take loans applications if they came in. Like I said, most of the loans are for $10,000, and a variety of, people are using them to just kind of stay afloat during this time. Some of them are using it for upgrades, whether it's technology or remodeling or whatever. There's just a variety of things that people are using it for, but clearly, by having that many people jump at it, it was needed. So thank you for taking the leadership on that. Any questions on that?
Are you going to continue to field calls? I mean, if you keep getting requests, and maybe we need to revisit that and allocate some more funding, perhaps. If the need. I mean, the hope is if things are opening up now, that things will start to get whatever the new normal is going to be, but.
Absolutely, we'll continue. So the Tier 2 grant goes until the end of July.
Okay.
So that is something that if a business needs just that $1,500, that will still be open. The changes that we've made to the limited loan program to the small business loan, that program, those loans will be available until the funds are gone for the year, and then you'll have to figure out what you want to do from there. But we will continue to field calls, and like I said, there is funds in there now that if it was really, there was a whole bunch of them right in the beginning.
Sure.
And now we have trickled. I think I have one that will probably get signed on Thursday. So.
Thanks.
Any questions on that?
Anybody have any questions for Audra?
Nope.
I'll offer the motion then to accept the report for May.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Heather, please call the roll.
Commissioner Brum,
Yes.
Commissioner Fix,
Yes.
Commissioner Yanni,
Yes.
Commissioner Schwartz,
Yes.
Commissioner Schultz,
Yes.
President Schmitz.
Yes, motion carries. With no more business, meeting adjourned.